Epic moments in the NBA don't happen every play. So when they do happen, let's take time to appreciate it. Kick back and relax with me, because we're about to go over superstar players who made your eyes pop out your sockets with crazy dunks, shots, and everything in between. These are epic moments made by the elite. Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies versus the LA Lakers. A Lakers player steals a basketball from the Grizzlies. Just as this player throws up a shot that looks unblockable, Ja Superman Morant comes down the court. Using his super hops, he jumps up and grabs the ball off the backboard. Sorry Lakers, no easy shots today. What was Ja drinking? The special juice from Space Jam? I mean seriously. Ja jumped so hard, he almost took off his own head. Whatever it is, I'm gonna need a bottle so it can make me play like Mike. The Miami Heat versus the Toronto Raptors. Bam Adebayo throws up a monster alley-oop to Jones. Jones jumped up to space for this ball, throwing it down for the monster one-hand slam. You know your dunk was that good when the other benches shook. I mean, look at the faces of Pascal Siakam and Marc Gasol. Someone get this man in the dunk contest. Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets versus the New York Knicks. Who plays defense for the Knicks? Nobody. Because Jamal stormed down the middle between 3 defenders. The Knicks took the day off on the court like it was a holiday. That's why the Knicks have not seen the finals since 1999. Defense wins ball games, stupid. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Detroit Pistons. Giannis drives to the paint. A defender in his face? No problem. Dunks over the defender. Shush. Shush. That's a professional athlete. Giannis just embarrassed with that poster dunk. The Bucks had on fresh jerseys that night too, so Giannis looked extra fly doing it. Wish I could say the same about the Pistons jerseys that night. Yuck. Cameron Johnson and the Phoenix Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Cameron Johnson comes down the court full steam ahead straight to the basket. Who's in his path? PJ Tucker. Not that it matters because Cameron laid down the mega one-handed dunk. On top of that, PJ received a blocking foul. Stood there to be on the opposite end of a poster dunk for what? I'll tell you what though. Whether it was the embarrassing dunk or the foul, the look on PJ Tucker's face afterwards was priceless. Go ahead and get your 3-point play on the veteran, Cameron Mr. Dunk Johnson. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Steph does a shake and bake dribble to catch the Grizzly defender slipping. No mop. Then Steph does the running man 3? Even Steph Curry was shook that he made that shot. Steph is out here taking shots not even knowing if they're good shots. I know Coach Kerr is not getting any sleep on the regular. On another note, add that man to the Steph Curry splash victim list. Seriously, he's gonna need therapy after that one. It's okay fam, you're not the only one. Gary Trent Jr. and the Toronto Raptors versus the Washington Wizards. 3 seconds left on the clock until the end of regulation. Washington up by 1. The score? 101 for Washington, 100 for Toronto. None of it matters when Gary has the rock in his hand. As he dribbles down the court, he punches his defender in the face to get open. At least that's what it looks like from this angle. Ha! For the buzzer beater, Gary sinks the 3. You can tell when the game is over that the Washington defender was feeling salty. I mean, I would too if I took a hand to the face that threw me all the way to China. I don't know what's more crazy in this game, the refs or Gary's superhuman strength. Zach LaVine and the Chicago Bulls versus the Dallas Mavericks. A Chicago teammate throws a dart to Zach in Dallas territory, but where's the Dallas team? Caught off guard in transition, which leads to a Zach 360 slamorama. If you have enough time to do a 360 spin before the dunk, then you know the defense is doing something wrong. You don't want to be in the Dallas locker room after a play like that. Cole Anthony and the Orlando Magic versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. 3 seconds left on the clock in regulation. The Timberwolves have a 2-point lead with 96. The Magic have 94, but that's about to change. Cole Anthony takes it to the 3-point line with 1 second to go. A defender in his face. He shoots. He scores! Honestly, the defense did nothing wrong. They just happened to be outplayed. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. On another note, love to see Cole's teammates swarm him after a buzzer beater for the win. He did it for the family. Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Another one, except this time, Ja takes it to the paint in between 2 defenders. One of those defenders happens to be Anthony Davis. At first, it looks like some solid defense, but then Ja turned nothing into something. As he's stuck between the 2 defenders, he gets the ball to his right hand and throws it up for a beautiful shot. Honestly though, Anthony Davis is just big for no reason. I know for a fact Anthony Davis from the Pelican days wouldn't have allowed that to go down. I guess Ja had more fight in him. Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns versus the Dallas Mavericks. This was just a nasty play by Devin. Defenders locked in, Devin with a couple dribbles, a spin in the paint, one defender down, one to go. This defender happens to be a giant. Kristaps Porzingis, the 7'3" giant to be exact. No problem. Devin just uses his right arm alone to reach around Kristaps for the bucket. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Houston Rockets. LeBron gets a pass from a teammate. He outran not one, but two young guns on the Rockets for a nice behind-the-back slam. Come on now. LeBron is an old head in the league, but he can still outrun the fresh legs who haven't even had 5 seasons under their belt. This new generation is just built different, and I mean that in a bad way. Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics versus the Los Angeles Clippers. 16 seconds left on the clock, Clippers up by 3. The score, 97-94. That's more than enough time for Jason to kick it into high gear though. He does a little shake and bake dribble as the defender falls helpless to the floor. All he can do now is watch Jason take the shot, and it's nothing but net. The defender, by the way, Paul George. Jason almost put my guy into retirement with that play alone. Zach LaVine and the Chicago Bulls versus the Charlotte Hornets. The Bulls are down 5 with 10 seconds to go. The score, 115-110. The Bulls hit a 3 to make it a 2-point game. No way the Hornets lose this game, until they do. On an inbound pass. The Hornets lose the inbound pass, giving Zach more than enough time to shoot the 3. The whole building was shook. All I know is that it's an easy money win for the Hornets, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, but that's all they do. Despicable. Scotty Barnes and the Toronto Raptors versus the Orlando Magic. Scotty takes it full court with 2 defenders in the paint. No problem. Split in between 2 defenders for the one-hand slam. I mean, he just made it look too easy. Scotty spreads his arm out and sticks out his tongue like he's a gladiator. Are you not entertained? Whatever happened to playing defense? Because the defenders just let him take that dunk without even trying. Send them both to the bench, coach. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Los Angeles Lakers. From the logo, half court to be exact, Shai throws up a Hail Mary 3 and makes it. Honestly, who shoots those? Somebody needs to call the commissioner. Making that a 4-point shot needs to be a top priority. Praise those who make the shot. Bench those that don't. Live by the 3, die by the 3. Move over, Steph. A new Splash Brothers arrived. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Till next time, peace and stay elite.